Hey kids, it's statistics from the Steingas house. So I'm going to give some lessons on this board and let's see what you think. So I gave you notes on the standard normal distribution and what we do with it. So bear with me, we'll see how this goes. So first of all, we know that a normal distribution, it's bell-shaped, looks like a bell, symmetric on both sides. It's asymptotic, which means it gets really close to the x-axis here but never crosses on both sides. And it's continuous, which technically means it goes on forever and ever and ever. So keep that in mind. Right down the middle of this standard normal distribution is the mean. So we have the mean here, and it's the median, and it's the mode, all in the same location. So 50% of my data is on the right side, and 50% is on the left side. Now, with a normal distribution, we learned with the empirical rule that one standard deviation away on each side, so I'll put a little sigma here for that, is about 68% of our data. And then when we hit 2 standard deviations, we're looking at 95% of our data. And then once we hit 3 standard deviations, it's almost all of it, which would be 99.7% of our data. So if we put a 0 right in the center and call that 0, and that's 1 standard deviation away, and that's 2, and then let's get 3 out there. In the other direction, -1, and -2, and -3. So practically all of the standard deviations go from -3 to +3. And we talked about that a while ago. So that's our standard distribution. Now we call it standard normal when we make everything in the scale of basically -3 to +3. So how do you get those numbers? Well, we use the Z formula. So remember, Z equals X, our observation, minus the mean all over the standard deviation. So let's just say, for example, can you see this? That I have an observation. Let's say it's a test score, and the average of my test is a 70 with a standard deviation of 4. That's pretty close, not very spread out. And I'd like to know what's the Z-score of X. And X is going to be, let's say you got a 72 on the test. A 72. So what is 72? Where does 72 go? Well, if the mean is 70, so we're going to call this guy in the middle 70 right here, right in the center. The mean is a 70. Well, 72 is around here somewhere. So what's 72 Z-score? I bet you anything it's between 0 and 1. So let's take a look. So using the formula up here, Z equals 72, that's my observation right there, minus 70, my mean, all over a standard deviation of 4. So I get 2 on the top in my numerator, 4 in my denominator, 2/4 or a half or 0.5. Yep, it is right there. It's right here, 0.5. Right, that's 0, that's 1, so 0.5 is right in the middle. So it's right there. So look what percent of kids scored below you. All of those right there. And then this group right here scored above you. So this much, you're a little over half, right? You scored right there, above the average. All right, so that's our introduction to standard distributions.